More and more university students are getting suckered in with credit cards. Every university student knows that they should have a credit card. You have to have a second form of ID on many financial transactions. You have to have one to establish good credit. And the more you use them, the more you will accrue bonus points toward cash, mileage, credits, and various, quote, free gifts. P.T. Barnum said, "There's a sucker born every minute, but it doesn't have to be you." About half of the first-year university students have at least one credit card. By second year, they nearly all do. Only about 60% of them, however, pay off their balance each month. Here's my advice for how to handle credit cards. First of all, emulate the best frugality in your parents. If your dad was the frugal parent, then whenever you go to use that credit card, ask, would dad think this is a great idea? If your mom was the frugal parent, then whenever you go to use the credit card, ask, would mom think this is a good idea? Your parents had to learn the lessons of income, debt, and savings in order to send you to school. Each generation has to learn the lessons in life the same way the previous generation did, on their own. And students have to develop their own financial compass. Credit card companies often target university students. They do this as a strategic decision because they know that students are more likely to exceed their credit limits, make minimum payments, and still remain loyal to the company that first issued them their credit card. Credit card companies attract students with loud music, flashy giveaways, and free food. The most typical gift is a t-shirt, and there are at least 9 ways that that t-shirt could cost you thousands of dollars. This is a true story. A friend of mine's son filled out a credit card application at a booth outside the stadium of one of the University of Virginia's home games. He was promised a t-shirt in the mail for completing a form, and instead they used all of his credit card information to steal his identity and have the credit card sent to another address. Thousands of dollars later, he was still trying to clear his name. So whenever you see that t-shirt offer, imagine the t-shirt reads, "I had my identity stolen and all I got was this lousy t-shirt." But remember, you probably won't get the t-shirt either. Studies have shown that when people use a credit card, they spend about twice as much money as when they use cash. And those same studies show that the biggest savings is enjoyed by when you refuse to use it for everyday unnecessary purchases. If you put those two studies together, you realize that you will double your savings and cut your spending in half simply by not using a credit card. That means that you have to imagine that everything you purchase with a credit card costs twice as much. So if you see it cost $5, imagine that it costs 10, and that's the resistance you have to have when you're using a credit card. Also, although 60% of college students pay off their balances each month, that leaves 40% who do not. It's relatively easy for a bill to be lost, misplaced, or forgotten in the hectic lifestyle of college activities. If you lose that bill, then you're going to be hit with interest payments and penalties, and that's going to cost additional as well. Students assume that they can run up a credit card bill because it will be easy to pay it off after they graduate when they get a high-paying job. But the larger your debt, the longer it takes to pay off that debt using minimum payments. The average student graduates with about $7,000 in credit card debt. They assume that $7,000 will be easily wiped out with their first high-paying job. Being burdened with $7,000 in credit card debt after graduation costs nearly $20,000 and can stretch nearly 40 years to erase with minimum payments. Whenever you reach for your credit card during college, visualize the choice between having the down payment on owning your own home or making that particular purchase. Students have linked accumulating credit card debt to psychological stress that increases the likelihood of dropping out of school and suicide. Studies have shown that a college degree is worth over $1 million in increased lifetime's earning, so you don't want to jeopardize that by credit card debt. Every time you reach for a credit card, imagine that credit card hanging on your wall instead of your college diploma. It could cost you $1 million to frame that credit card. The years after college and before children are the best time in your life to save. You have 2 times to save, both for children and after children. Saving while you have children is very difficult. Your high school and college years are the prime times for this saving, and shortly after graduation. And if you saddle that with credit card debt, then the only other time you'll have to save is when your children are graduating from college and you get one more chance before retirement. Additionally, your high school and college years are the prime years for funding your Roth IRA. Contributing $2,000 to a Roth IRA during high school and college for 6 years is better than contributing during your first year after college and continuing for the remainder of your life. Because by the time you've graduated from college, if you've been contributing to your Roth IRA, that account will be earning more than $2,000 going forward for the rest of your life. Every 7 years you wait to fund your Roth IRA, you cut in half the standard of living that you'll have in retirement. So when you're in the process of looking at credit card debt, just imagine that you will not be able to retire with twice as much money as you would have had otherwise. Bad debt is anything that you can wear, eat, or drink. Always pay cash for those items. The next time you pull out your credit card for any of those items, imagine wearing, eating, or drinking $20 bills. Use these visualization techniques to stem your excessive use of credit cards. Alternately, just leave your credit cards locked in your dorm room. Life is too short to get sucked in by credit cards.